What's going on, guys? Another full face intro. You know what that means. We are going to be making another tier list. This time it is going to be the traits. Now, I actually haven't ranked the traits at all yet. So this is going to be my first ranking, but again, like I said in the last video, this is going to be all of my experience for several weeks now of playing this game mode. I've played with every single one of these traits and about every single comp possible. I feel like I have a really good understanding of each one, strengths, weaknesses. Obviously, I will discuss those in detail as I rank them, and they'll also, maybe you're watching this, this video and you haven't even played the game mode before, so I'm gonna do a bit of an explanation into who makes up the trait and then what its strengths are. So let's start right here with the ace trait. I think the ace trait this is a hard one for me to rank. I think it's very strong. I don't think it's incredibly overpowered, but you know what? I don't think I can Man, the first one is killing me. Okay, I think it's going to be a go for it, but I think it's going to be at the very bottom because it is a very beneficial trait. It does help your best unit gain extra stats. Your captain gains extra damage and extra hit speed when they kill somebody, and your captain is your highest troop, your highest star troop. The Brawler, the Bandit, the Mega Knight, the P.E.K.K.A, and the Executioner are who make up the ace trait. I never run 4 out of 4. This is one where you would run 2 out of 4. Take it when you can. It is beneficial because even the smaller percentage really boosts your strongest card and kind of helps your whole team out. Again, don't target it. Don't start a game thinking, okay, I'm going for all 4 ace. I wouldn't do that. But I do think it's good enough that it's something you should target to get a 2 out of 4 on. The Assassins. I really like the Assassins. Even though everybody in Diamond knows how to counter them and knows when to counter them, you can still get some crazy plays with them. They don't have to be, just diving right for the supports. They can do some good damage against tanks if they're well supported. But there's so much. I think there's as much skill cap as there can be in an auto battler game. I think that there's a big skill cap with Assassins. You can be very sneaky with them. The placement can get very finicky. You can be very particular on exactly where you want it to land, exactly who you want to target with exactly what troop. I think that Assassins are actually very good still. Now, maybe that falls off even more when you get to top ladder, like if you're playing in the top 100. I'm not there, and at that point, I think everybody would be so particular that they would know exactly what to do with your Assassins every time. But by and large, across the board, I think Assassins are a very, very strong synergy. And that brings us to the Avengers. I think Avengers might be broken. Just because of how they work in conjunction with Clan. So if you get the 3 Avengers, you're guaranteed to have at least 2 Clan. That is the only synergy that has 2 units overlap, which is why they are so strong. I think it's just an incredibly good synergy. The healing, not the healing, the extra damage is just so strong. Your queen can go completely bonkers. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the Assassins are Royal Ghost, Stab Goblin, and Golden Knight. For your Avengers, you have the Archer Queen, the Valkyrie, and the Bandit. Just three really, really good cards, and that's part of it. Part of having a good synergy is having good cards within that synergy. All 3 of those cards, are maybe in the top 5 cards in the game, maybe even top 4, I think, after my last video. Top 5. It was top 5. But just incredibly, incredibly strong synergy. It's something that you don't really target. You just kind of pick it up as you can, because Clan is something you target. I don't know. You can target it. You can pick up a Bandit, but rarely are you ever going to go for it outside of Clan. At least having 2 of the 3 or 2 of the 4 Clan members. And this just opens up some doors for you. And I'm actually going to go ahead and throw Clan in here at the top because they're so closely related. Clan is unbelievably broken. Clan has Archer Queen, Valkyrie, Barbarian, and Archer. If you've seen any videos on this game mode or any gameplay, you know how many people go for Clan, or if you've just played enough of your own, you know that everybody's going for Clan all the time because they're very strong, and it's obviously the ideal setup. Now, very rarely do people actually get high levels on Clan because it's so split up between a lot of the players, and so you don't really see that many huge Clan lineups, but different parts of it come into play, and the big parts of it are Archer Queen and Valkyrie, which obviously overlap with the Avenger synergy. Just the healing combined with the extra damage. Clans abilities allow healing for at 2 out of 4 it heals your clan members. At 4 out of 4 it extra heals your clan members, and it heals your entire team on top of that. So that synergy combined with Archer Queen's ability combined with her ability to do extra damage just makes it such an overpowered combo. It really is broken. I think they need to change it. So that's why Clan's the best. And at the complete opposite of Clan is Brawler. Brawler is so bad. It only gives bonus XP, and there's no place for you to ever be going for Brawler. I mean, if you happen to pick it up because you have a Mega Knight and a Prince on the field, don't know why you would, because both of those cards aren't insanely strong on their own. But the extra bonus HP is nothing compared to stuff like extra healing, crazy extra damage, some of the others I'll talk about and what bonuses they gave you. But bonus HP is just they survive for half a second longer, and then they get steamrolled by your opponent's Valkyrie and Archer Queen or Goblin Machine or Royal Ghost or complete Ranger lineup. Just doesn't benefit your team enough. Plus, it's full of really bad units. 4 of probably the worst 10 units in the game, maybe the worst 8. Just don't go for it. There's no reason you should ever be targeting Brawlers. Goblins is here. Goblins are very, very, very good if you go for the 2 out of 4. Don't go for the 4 out of 4. It's going to spread you too thin. You're not going to get enough merges. What Goblins allow you to do is like fully utility based, because Goblins themselves don't actually get any combat boost like the rest of the synergies do. It's all about getting bonus cards. And the big part of that is being able to get the cheap Stab Goblin and Spear Goblin right at the beginning of the round, which allow you to merge faster and get more elixir with Spirit Empress. That's where Goblins are very, very strong. Now, Goblin Machine is an incredibly strong card because of his backline stuns, and Dark Goblin is really good in Ranger. So you will, piece together some lineups that actually keep Goblins in the game, which is fine because at bare minimum, it's an extra free elixir every single round. I don't think that, you should, like I said, you should never go for the full 4-piece. There's never a time where you need to be doing that. But there are some good synergies that all have a Goblin in them. And so more likely than not, if you're playing, a well-rounded team, you're going to have the Goblin synergy activated. So that's why I'm going to put it there. I mean, it's not necessarily something that you really want to be targeting, but because of how good it is on a utility basis, it's worth putting up there. The Juggernauts. I really like the Juggernauts, but I don't think that they're actually strong enough to warrant. I think they can go here. And the reason I say that is because it's similar to the Brawler in that it only gives you extra shield, but it's a bit different. The shield is helpful because it's timed. It's obviously bigger. There's more health points to it, and it benefits the whole team, and it has some positioning values. It has some outplay potential, but the biggest thing is that the cards within it are so much better. P.E.K.K.A, Goblin Giant, Skeleton King is pretty good, not insane. Or I say Goblin Giant. P.E.K.K.A is a good card. Goblin Machine is an insane card. Knight is a good card, and Skeleton King is it's a decent card as well. So the cards that are within it alone carry it. I mean, giving the shield to your entire team plus making your front line extra tanky makes it valuable, but it's not something you're going to target. Like, you're not going to go into a game and be like, okay, I'm going to get all 4 Juggernauts. There are some comps that work well like that, but those other cards are often cherry-picked out of the pool to fill out other comps. But if you can get them, it's a strong combo, but very likely you'll be playing with a 2 out of 4 rather than a 4 out of 4, which is still strong. It still helps your good cards like your Goblin Machines gain some extra survivability. Noble is another one where you don't really target it, you just take it if you get it. Prince is a bad card. Knight is a mediocre card. Golden Knight is really good inside of Assassin, and Princess is insane inside of Ranger. And so it's kind of one where, like, if for some reason you're doing Ranger Assassins, then you'll have Noble activated. If you're doing Rangers with a decent front line, you'll probably have Knight up there, and you'll have it activated. If you're doing a front line and an Assassin back line, you're going to have Noble activated. And what it does is just gives your frontline units extra damage prevention, and it gives your backline units extra damage. And so it's really kind of a really good boost. I mean, it's not like it's going to make or break your game, but if you have it activated, it does help you out. Again, it's not one that I would target for 4 out of 4. It can be good. I mean, there's some really good lineups. If somehow you can get all the nobles with a Ranger backline overlapping with Princess and then put the other 3 in the front, that's pretty strong. They're just not really tanky enough to support your Rangers enough. If you do a noble front line and an assassin back line, princess is kind of out of place there. You leave her alone when your Rangers jump, and then your knight is really your only tank there because your prince runs in and your assassins jump to the back line. So it's kind of a scattered team, which can work sometimes. But it's more, you take it if you can get the extra damage, and the extra damage prevention. Prevention, is that a word? Yes, it sure is. And that's where you gain the bonus there by just having it as an auto activated 2 out of 4. Ranger is insane. Oh no, it goes there. Ranger is maybe broken because of some of the glitches, and not glitches. I take that back, because of some of the interactions you can get with the animation time, especially on the princess. She will shoot through Queen's ability because her animation is activated, and then her shot carries through regardless of if Queen goes into invis throughout the princess's animation. I've seen it happen with Archer and Dark Goblin too, but princess is the most obvious. So they are just able to, kind of cheese out really good wins over the strongest comp. They're the ones that I see most, at Diamond. Almost everybody's going for Rangers because they're stronger at lower stars. Because if they can get those abilities built up, and by the way, it's Princess, the Dark Goblin, and Archer. I know I said that earlier, but by shooting, the more hits they make, the faster they speed up, and I think it can get up to like 15 times their normal hit speed, which is unreal. So being able to get a strong front line in front of the Rangers is crucial. But if you do that, even at 2 stars, Rangers will just melt the opposing lineup. They are better than Avengers on their own. Now, the Avengers clan obviously is a stronger lineup than Rangers and anything else. You can do a Rangers clan, which is crazy. I've played with that like once or twice. It was just unbelievable, and it was impossible to get the card levels high enough. But it has happened for me a few times, and it's just so overpowered. I don't know if that's something that they will... I don't know if they'll change the ability as much as they'll change maybe the interaction with the princess and the ability to kill... Queen or Royal Ghost once they go into Invis, which is, interesting because Queen and Royal Ghost are kind of 2 overpowered cards in and of themselves. But just the way it interacts isn't exactly as balanced as I think it should be. So hopefully they fix something there. But Rangers are fantastic. If nobody's playing Rangers, if it's uncontested, go for it. And I'll talk about Contestion at the end and exactly what that means and what that should imply to you as a player when you see... or when you're picking what team you want to go for. Throwers are down here, if you have to. There's some good thrower comps. I made a video with a few good thrower comps. They are very strong. They do extra damage at further range if you have all of them unlocked. It gains, for the Executioner, the Bomber, and the Spear Goblin, they all get 1 extra tile of range, and then they do extra damage if they're throwing to further away opponents. And that can be really strong because they let you activate some other good synergies. You can get a partial Ace, you can get a partial Goblin, you can get a partial... Undead, and I made a video with a comp like that, and it's my favorite comp to play actually. Throwers with Goblin Machine, P.E.K.K.A, and Royal Ghost, I think is what it was. My favorite comp to play. I really enjoy it because almost all the units are always uncontested, and it's fun. It's a fun comp because of all the CC that you can get. Just really well balanced. So I do like it, but just off stats alone, it is not incredibly strong. And the cards themselves, Executioner, Bomber, and Spear Goblin, are not very strong at all alone. And the comp raises them up a bit, but it's not enough to take them up to the go for it tier. This is if you have to, if everything else is contested, and if you have the troops to back it up. And there's the exact same thing with Undead. The troops in it are decent. Royal Ghost is very, very good. Giant Skeleton is not great. Bomber's not great. And Skeleton King is okay. They deal percentage damage at the start of a round. So if you have 2 out of 4, they do 25% damage to 1 troop. If you have 4 out of 4, they do 50% damage to 2 troops. Which is good because it can activate clan abilities early, but it doesn't activate Queen ability right. If you hit the Queen ability with the 50% damage right at the beginning of the round, it doesn't actually activate her ability, which is frustrating. You have to do extra damage to her to actually bring her below that 50% level and activate her ability. Kind of a weird thing that I wish they would fix, because if it worked, they would be a really hard counter to Queen, but it doesn't work that way. So they're not really something I would go for a max team, which is funny because I just put these 2 in the if you have to tier. But then they are part of one of my favorite comps that I actually made a video of a really strong comp to play, even in Diamond. And that leads right into the point that's the most important when you're considering what comps you want to go for, and that's Contestion. What I mean by Contestion is what cards are available. If you don't understand how the troop pool works, go watch my video on the troop pool. But the TLDR on that is that there are only 4 copies of each card in the pool, and if somebody is going for a particular team, you are more likely than not going to be able to go for that same team. So what that means is that you got to go for the teams that other people are not going for, which means that you aren't going to have your first pick. And that's what leads me to teams that have the throwers involved. That kind of mismatch comp that I just told you about, and then the throwers Undead, both of which I made videos on. Those are the decisions that really set you above the rest of the players. If you're able to adapt, if you know what comps you want to go for based on what cards are available, if you're able to scout and see, okay, this guy's got, full Rangers at 2 stars. There's no way I'm going to be able to get a strong Ranger. Okay, this guy over here is going for Clan. This guy's going for Noble. This guy's going for Assassins. Okay, now I know I can go for Throwers, Undead, or Protectors because those cards are still in the pool. That's what's going to set you a level above, and that's what you have to be really conscious of with your scouting. Yes, you scout to see what your specific opponents are running and to see how to position your troops, but you got to be constantly scouting to see what other troops are in the pool. So there's my tier list. That is exactly, I would go for every single one of those in order if they were all uncontested. I think that's how it would go, with the exception of Goblins because they're utility-based. They're not in-game bonus-based. So obviously they don't give you any extra stats or anything in the game. But I do think that's the strongest, it's the most applicable one. Definitely not strongest. Clan's the strongest, but you will use Goblins the most, and it will benefit your team in every round if you can get some early Goblins. Plus, they just grow, and so they're not going to be contested because you generate your own Goblins. But besides that, I think that's exactly the order of which I would go for a full comp on every single one. So if this helped you out at all, please drop a like. Please subscribe. I drop Merge Tactics content every single day. Leave a comment of your own rankings if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. If you have specific comps that you'd like me to run and make videos about, I would love to do that. I've done that for a few already, and I have a few more planned of making videos of comps that people have told me in the comments. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.